Today we're in London, and we're here at Westminster Abbey with Justin White. And Justin is the chaplain at Merton College, isn't that right?
In Oxford, yeah.
In Oxford. And we're so glad to see him. Justin has a deep connection to Grace Cathedral and is one of our strongest well-wishers here in the UK. So thank you so much. You're such a good sport to see us and talk to us today. I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about Merton College, maybe something about what makes it special.
Yes, it lays claim to being the oldest college in Oxford and is in dispute with University College and Balliol College. But we claim that we are the oldest, 1264, and it's certainly the first college to establish what it means to be a college of the University of Oxford. So it establishes statutes very early on about a group of fellows coming together with a shared academic pursuit and has laid the foundation for the pattern for Oxford governance ever since.
So, you know, it's funny, as you're speaking, I just thought, I mean, the way we do university education, college education, it is deeply shaped by that ideal of a group of fellows working together with a shared vision, making policy decisions together. But I hadn't quite thought about the collegiality, because there are many ways you could do education.
Yes.
But you're right, it's shaped by this idea of free and equal professors and teachers.
And lay a sort of lay community of people with a shared theological interest as well, which was kind of interesting. The very beginnings of that.
So when we were in one of the other cathedrals, they were talking about the importance of Merton's library. I wonder if do you know anything about the special collection of books that they have there?
Yes, I mean, it's special insofar as it's the oldest continuously functioning library anywhere in the world. So has been going from the late 13th century ever since, without any break, as it were, and has a collection of sort of medieval texts, particularly works of people like Roger Bacon. So make it very specialist in terms of the very early days of the scientific revolution. And that's what it specialises in. And its glass is the other great famous thing. So an unbroken collection of medieval 13th century glass, which is shared by the chapel as well. So,
that's wonderful. Now, there's so much going on, and I feel disconnected from students. I just don't see students on a daily basis in the way that you do. But there's so many technological changes. I mean, the way we do education has been changed by the internet, social media, cell phone technology. And now we have AI kind of looming on the horizon. I don't know if you and your colleagues are talking about what this is going to mean, or if you have any things that we should be paying attention to as we go through this revolution.
I mean, endlessly discussing this, and it's radically changing the way in which we're having to provide education in a university setting. I mean, what's peculiar about Oxbridge particularly is it has stuck to the tutorial system. So you and possibly one other colleague of yours on a sort of 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 with a tutor 2 to 3 times a week, as opposed to the kind of seminar setting. So there's nowhere to hide in that kind of setting. You know, it's you, your essay, and your tutor. And it is some way of kind of shielding you against the AI revolution. Okay, so you may have used some form of artificial intelligence to construct your essay, but when it comes to the context of the room, you and your tutor, it really is that old-fashioned idea of disputation, a kind of argument and response and thrashing out an idea through dialogue. So we're lucky in that regard. There is nowhere to hide in that tutorial.
I mean, I was talking to someone who said, like, the scholarly monograph. I mean, what will be the future of that? And that's exactly what they said. They said, maybe we'll return to medieval disputations. And part of what we need to do is recognize that we'll need more faculty members for the number of students that we have.
It's certainly happening. And the way in which exams are done now has to be kind of back to written exams in a room with no equipment, no technology whatsoever.
Right. So blue books. So you're so close to the church life here in England. What signs of hope do you see just kind of moving forward? In the last 5 years, the American church has stopped declining. So according to statistical studies, and so it's that idea that the church would just decline to nothing. It's just not part of the conversation anymore. But how do things look here in the UK in terms of church life?
I mean, my experience is obviously university life, and there is a revival in the interest in sacramentality, in liturgy, in the beauty of liturgy in that sense of this inexplicable mystery into which we're entering in.
Yes.
And students are really responding to that in a really powerful way. So I'm not discerning a decline in interest in liturgical sacramental worship in Oxford. And when you add to that the extraordinary sort of resources that we have in terms of the musical tradition, it's really, I think, it's appealing to undergraduates. And they're asking all the big questions. Yeah. So the revival of things like Chaplain, for example, is something I've started in the last couple of months.
Great.
And this very large congregation of students who want to come and experience that mystical, dark, mysterious experience of Chaplain. So,
I love
that's
that.
right.
I mean, anyone hearing of this, I hope they, be inspired to do the same kinds of things, because I do think the church has so much to offer in this time.
Absolutely.
Especially with all this, the despair we see everywhere. I was preaching at York Minster, and I mentioned, all the bridges have little signs that say, we're here to help, or call us if you're in trouble, or, and in times of despair, having someone like you as a chaplain, having church, having liturgical practices makes a huge difference.
I'm certainly finding that the welfare demands are ever increasing and becoming increasingly specialised and professionalised now, and the welfare needs of students is becoming more and more complicated. So that's a real change from when I was an undergraduate. And meeting that need as a chaplain is challenging, because there's a general move towards secularizing that. That's a kind of professional secular activity distinct from the chaplaincy, and trying to say, no, I'm here for the whole community. I'm, offering the worship of the chapel, but I'm also here as a pastor as well.
I think you'd be the best chaplain. I think I would completely go to you and talk to you. And it's such a formative time. I can imagine there's so many young people who encounter you, and at this moment where things could go either way, and you help set them on a course that's going to be more fulfilling and give more life to them.
I hope so. Yes. And also sort of, as they get to know me, realizing that I'm not trying to bash them over the head with a Bible.
Right, exactly.
I'm interested in their in the kind of holistic understanding of their development as students, from whatever faith traditions they may be, or none, and that I'm part of that welfare network.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm just so grateful to you, Justin, for your work that you do. I'm so grateful that we have that special connection between you and Grace Cathedral. There's so many people who mention your name and say, how's he doing? And are you going to see Justin?
Yes. It's extraordinary that such a short period of time
still
has nonetheless borne so much extraordinary fruit and friendships, which I really, really treasure today. And going back a few weeks ago and just meeting so many people, it was lovely. It's a lovely experience.
Definitely.
So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, I would love to have heard your talks over at St. Mark's. So I'm here with Justin White, the chaplain for Merton College in Oxford. My name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.
You two are so cute.